Yes. Yes. Yeah. She hears me. This is an audible activity in relevant position. This is economy and personnel. Yes. Okay, let's be clear. They're monitoring. She's knocking on the door just like Tracy Banks was 5 minutes ago. And this is P.O.C. Yes.
Hello?
She hears me. Yes.
Please, lady, the customer is in the 220, please. No disturbance.
220. Who's in 220?
Hello?
Who's in 220? 220?
Yeah, okay, the lady, they said you talk, please don't talk the lady. Please.
Don't talk to lady.
Yeah, the one lady, please don't talk. Because
First of all, maybe you should get the facts right. I was talking to a male who was standing here, and he said, and she came out rudely, just like she is now, when I was not addressing her, and she was rude to me. Yes, you were. I said she was being rude. You busted out, and I said, I'm not talking to you. You said, I'm talking to you now. That's exactly what you said. When I was engaged in a respectful conversation with the male that was outside. So you are coming to my door and accusing me of being disrespectful, which I wasn't. She came out of her room with her guns loaded. Okay, I was talking to him. He's playing his cell phone loudly, and you can hear it straight through my door. So if you want to come and tell me not to be rude, I wasn't being rude. Okay. She said, no.
One baby is sleeping.
It's not about the baby. You're telling me you're knocking on my door as though I'm the problem. Again, this is a history with you guys at Economy Inn.
Okay, listen. One lady.
Why are you knocking on my door right now? You said it was about her.
No, it's
you
this
just
one,
said it was about her.
No, it's this one lady. You lady, different lady. The program.
What different lady?
The lady. Grandma. The lady go for I got one packet for you. Let me call you. You no answer.
Okay.
No talk.
What are you talking about her for? We're talking about her.
No, this one lady, different lady. You remember
the lady that came in?
So you're not talking about her. You said right now she was the one that. So you're talking about another lady came to my door.
Lady talk. You know.
Okay, because I'm thinking you're knocking on my door right now, talking about her next to me. So you're talking about the lady that came and knocked on my door, Tracy. I know you're talking about.
Okay. The lady
that came in. Yeah, that's Tracy.
Open the door.
Okay.
And this call and you no answer.
Okay.
Okay. Please, no disturber for the lady. No problem. No, I got a problem.
You're mixing two issues again. Is this about the lady that came and knocked on my door, or is this about her?
No, the lady not talk the door.
What does that have to do with her?
No, the lady not talk the door. Different lady talk the door, and this is not open. And too much, and you not open. You call you.
Too much.
Yeah, you know open. And
so hold on, you're saying somebody was complaining because the door was being knocked on too much?
The lady, the program told the door and you know open. And
okay, first of all, the only one who knocked on my door is Tracy Banks. She came and knocked over envelopes, which the man who was standing here saw this. And understand, this is all P.O.C. They're monitoring. And she came and knocked on my door, and she gave me 2 envelopes, which she threw on the ground after she knocked on my door for a steady 4 minutes, which I didn't respond. After that, while my door was open, okay, that's not the issue though. You're here about them, right? So why are you talking about what does her bringing the envelopes have to do with them? Those are 2 separate issues.
Hey guys, listen, smoking inside for you baby. They say you got a problem. What is the problem?
No, nobody, she mentioned her baby. I didn't mention nothing about her baby.
Because you said we're paying.
First of all, the conversation was, get the conversation right, because I wasn't talking to you, and that was my point. He was fine speaking for himself. You step out of the room talking about, that ain't the point. You don't have to be disrespectful, and that's what I told you. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. She was being rude. I was not the one being rude. I asked him about his cell phone.
No talk, the guys.
Excuse me, no. His cell phone was playing music, and it is loudly in my room. So what I said, and again, I'm not talking to you, and what I said was, can you please not play your music loudly? And he said to me, I'm not going to turn my phone down. They're the ones who were being combative, as I asked him calmly to turn his music down.
The guy read the room, they said, smoking inside for my baby. There's no problem inside the music.
Nobody said about smoking.
No problem inside the music. But the guys rent the room, pay the room, and they say I got a music, and the baby no smoking in the room, only inside. And they say okay, no problem.
Why are you knocking on my door right now?
No.
Other than the fact, what's your excuse for knocking on my door? Because it's all audible activity. This is monitoring, but you're claiming that they claim not to talk to them. Is that what you're saying?
No problem.
Get it right, because I want to say what your reason for creating activity in relevant position is. What is it?
Okay.
Get it right. Because you're accusing me of being rude, which I wasn't.
Okay.
And I asked him about playing his music in front of my door because it's in my room, it's loud. And he said, in response, I'm not turning my phone down. And then she steps out and she said, he's not going to turn his phone. She's butting down. And I said,
okay.
so how is that? That's not me being a problem.
Okay, no, I got a problem.
No, you're knocking on my door as though it is a problem. So clarify what the problem is.
No, I didn't knock on her door.
I never said she knocked on my door.
No,
This is all audible
Did I
activity,
knock on
and
your
they're
door?
acting, and I
No,
never
she didn't
said,
say I
all you
knocked
have to
on
do is
the
pay
door.
attention.
She said
I
the
never
lady
said that she knocked on my door. There is no confusion. These are third parties who are monitoring. This is all audible activity while the state is directing light, while the state is always stalking. This is all audible activity, and this is also a means of harassment. Understand, my ability to handle third parties is that which could easily turn into me becoming the problem, which economy in specifically has already engaged in. That's harassment while they're monitoring. And these in 226, she's the one, the heavy-set Latina female, and they're armed with surveillance cameras, and you'll see them right now while the state is directing light, remaining in front of my door. No, hold on. I want to be clear before you leave, because you came and knocked on my door, ma'am. So I want to be clear. What's the problem? Because you seem to be confused now. I never said she knocked on my door. I asked you, why are you knocking on my door? And then you're talking about some other lady knocking on my door, which has nothing to do with them.
Okay,
and you're talking about...
listen to music. They call the bus. So the boyfriend called that you talk
So hold on. I asked him about not playing his music loudly in front of my door, and he calls you. That's what you're saying. First of all, that's a third party.
He said you told music, and the lady said no music. Only call the bus inside when you wait.
She said that there was no music, and I didn't say right now. It had happened, which I was talking to him about. He wasn't confused about it. She comes and butts in the conversation and said there's no music. I didn't say there was music right now. I said before, and I said, would you mind not playing that in front of my room because I can hear it loudly?
Okay,
which there is nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Listen.
There is nothing wrong with that.
Okay, listen. The guy, he says smoking. No, I got a problem.
I don't care about him smoking.
No, okay. No,
The only reason why I open my
you
door
in
is
your
because
room,
Tracy.
And the lady in your room,
Yeah,
no, I got a
and when
problem.
you stand in front of my door playing music, that's disruptive. It sounds like he's right in front of my room playing music.
You in your room.
Yeah.
The guy says smoking. I don't care this one.
First of all, this is amplification of audible activity. Go ahead.
Okay.
So when he's playing music, it's amplified. But go ahead. Because you're messing with the wrong one. Go ahead.
Okay, please, lady. No, I got a problem. The guy says smoking here and here. You in your room. No, open the room. It's okay, no problem. No, I got a problem.
First of all, it didn't have to be a problem.
No.
I asked him, and he did not have to say, I'm not turning down my phone. You're the one that's creating an issue. So now you've got them. This is going to be the reason for you knocking on my door because they were rude and they didn't have to respond in that manner. So you're not going to make this a problem on me. He was rude when I asked him about playing music, and then she comes out talking about that, which I didn't even say. I didn't say there was music playing right now.
Okay, please. Okay.
Please what?
What is the problem?
There was no problem. I'm in my room minding my business.
Okay, you in your room.
Yes.
The guy just says smoking inside.
And all I asked him was, can you not stand in front of my room playing your music on your phone?
I got a problem for you. What is the problem? The guy saying here.
Because if you're standing here playing your phone, you just asked me a question. I'm answering your question.
Yeah.
If you're standing here in front of my door playing music, I can hear that loudly. So I'm saying, do you have to stand in front of my door playing whatever you're listening to?
No friend your room, okay? We talk, no friend the room, and I got a problem. Okay?
There wasn't a problem when I said it in the first place. You didn't need to come to the door, honey. You're telling me he comes and gets you.
Yeah,
and all of you are third parties acting in concert together.
What is the problem?
There was no problem. I asked him about music. He didn't need to call you. I understand why you're here now, but I want to get your reason for why you're knocking on my door because that's not a reason for you to be coming here. And that does not make me a problem either.
Okay.
And second of all, him playing his music, he didn't have to be rude and disrespectful, which is what they were.
We told the guys knowing here and the
First of all, they're not little
Okay,
kids.
friend-
They shouldn't have to call you for that. They
Okay,
should be able to have a
friend-
conversation like an adult. Okay?
Okay.
You understand?
We told the guys
But that's
no
funny.
Okay. We told the guys no friend in your room, okay? Only the room. No friend in your room.
Well, that's what he told me. He said he wasn't in front of my room.
No, but that's okay, no problem.
And I wasn't tripping. I went back to
The
my...
guys in the friend in the room, and you and the no friend in the room, okay?
Yeah, okay. I didn't have a problem in the first place. Yeah, bye. That was all P.O.C. It's 8:29 p.m., so let's be clear. When they're creating audible activity, It's amplified. Okay, so they're talking about, well, you're not standing in front of, you're not talking about ordinary audible activity. The state is amplifying all of the activity that third-party group stalkers intentionally create while they're monitoring what are my documentation of third-party group stalkers dating back to 2018. These heavy-set Latina females from 226 coming out engaging in what is harassment, as I asked this third-party group stalker, they're Latino male. He's standing in front while Tracy Banks, license WON 432, comes and knocks on my door repeatedly. Understand, it's not a matter of whether I'm in the room or not. They know I'm in the room. They know I'm not answering the phone. She knows I'm inside, not answering the door. She just continues to knock on the door. This is all intentional activity creation. It's all monitoring, okay? And 226 is standing in front in relevant position, monitoring me to that activity that Tracy Banks is creating on the door. And this Latino male in 226 was playing his phone, or it could have been another third party. I only addressed him because he was standing outside right next door, and he could have easily said, oh, it wasn't me or whatever. And understand, what I'm dealing with is I'm documenting what is the public entity's monitoring system, but I'm also dealing with them in their twisted universe where they're acting like they're not monitoring. Okay, so this is why I'm asking her all these questions that are common sense questions. Well, I'm trying to figure out, so why are you knocking on my door? So why would he come and get you to knock on my door about that which he could have answered as a grown man, when he could have said, A, number one, it wasn't me, or number two, I'm gonna, well, actually he did. He was rude about it. He said he's not turning his phone on. That's the end of the conversation. So then he calls the office. Okay, there's no need to do that. Understand this. These are all third parties engaging in nothing that other than monitoring. And also that is a little, poo-nanny move, but understand it's all going toward what is P.O.C, and this is harassment. Economy in heavily documented and engaged in that. Economy in engaged in what is criminal summoning. Economy in engaged in kidnapping, representing that which the people of the state are all subject to prosecution for, because they represent the same group of people. The people are acting next door in 226, baby crying, music playing, Tracy Banks coming and knocking on the door and remaining knocking on the door, group stalking under the guise of bringing me my paycheck and driver's license. Understand, holding on to that, that's what this is, and that's what they do with everything. If you ask for toilet paper from the housekeeper, if you ask for anything that you are engaging in with a third party, they wait until the moment is opportune in order to engage in whatever it is that you are expecting from them. So, for example, Tracy Banks holding on to my driver's license and my paycheck. Understand, I'm not going to get that until a moment where it's ordinarily, of course, her form is going to be, well, I don't get it yet. I'll give it to you when I get it. But other than that, what it is understand, providing it to me at the moment where it is opportune for purposes of monitoring. And that's exactly what it is. Whether she wants to claim she just got it tonight or what, I'm just letting you know what the behavioral pattern is and how group stalkers operate. They will engaging in housekeeping, providing toilet paper, providing anything that you're requesting. Guess what? You'll get that when it's opportune for them to come and knock on the door as they're engaged in ceaseless corporate invasion of privacy. That's how group stalkers operate. Right now, that's 226 right next door to my right. So this room is right next door to me, and they're engaged in monitoring in addition to adding additional what is criminal harassment charges. That's all that they're doing. They're just adding on to what the people are engaged in, engaging in the same identical behavioral pattern, creating an issue where there is not one. You're monitoring, and I'm calling you out on one of your methods of monitoring. This is the legal analysis behind what is actually going on, and engaging in facilitation of P.O.C through one identifying themselves as an employee, this third party who you're listening to speaking, and engaging in what is some sort of supposed confusion. There is no confusion, okay? It's an excuse for, first of all, maintaining presence, opening up the door, creating audible activity while the state is directing light, while the state is monitoring to all of that activity, which also that animosity, that hostility by that heavy-set Latina who was next door in 226, excuse me, monitoring. All right. In addition, so this is the bottom line. This is how policy is going to be. This is how policy shall go forth. Not only are you going to be subject to a profuse and intense federal prosecution, being identified as a group stalker under federal law, which has a litany of federal prosecutions. In addition to that, you want to be rude, you want to be disrespectful, you want to be violent, you want to be threatening, you want to be harassing while you're monitoring on top of, on behalf of a government, you will face further charges for that. You're going to be punished for every aspect of it. This is the shutting down of that system, and every form, every method whereby they are engaging in that which is nothing other than profuse resistance to what is the exposure of this criminal system and to what is prosecution that is inevitable. And every every tactic that they're engaged in, this is relevant documentation of what is P.O.C. All elements are present, okay, first of all. Secondly, you're looking at how you are understanding what is the operation of third-party group stalkers, everything coming out of that group stalker's mouth. She's a sex offender. She's a psychopath. She's monitoring, okay? And she's doing so as she is in the position of what is an employee at third-party facilitating venue Economy Inn. She is acting. She's also facilitating as she is monitoring in concert with third-party group stalkers, acting in the capacity of patrons at Economy Inn, a third-party facilitating venue, okay? And this is that which is that of a group conduct. All of it is facilitating the government's ability to monitor you while they are present under the guise of whatever circumstances are occurring or relevant under wherever the target individual is at. That's the simplified version of what you're listening to. But all of that it's monitoring. That is the bottom line. It's all nonsense. It's an excuse to knock on the door, but also it's going to go toward what Economy Inn is ceaselessly engaged in. You've got what is the state bursting through this window 24 hours a day with light. Even as I cover it up with black plastic bags and to conceal the light, this is not that which I've already shown. I mean, you can clearly see in the videos and not only here at this venue, I've already established how the state is stalking with light and aiming directed light, which is direct evidence for monitoring by the government and acting in concert with the state. That's direct evidence of that. And this is exactly what I've captured inside of this room at 227. And these are the facts under which they are present, knocking on the door, being rude and hostile while I'm asking about playing your music on your phone, which is monitoring conduct. This is a communication of a threat, and then you want to be rude when I'm asking you to turn your audible activity down while you're in front of my room monitoring, engaged in corporate invasion of privacy, expressing hostility while you're listening to me recite third-party group stalkers dated back in 2018 engaged in the same criminal activity that you're engaged in today. Okay, that's what's occurring. And that's what you just listened to. It's 8:36 p.m. right now. This is Economy Inn, 2301 South Euclid Avenue in Ontario, California, 91762. Tracy Banks, again, as I stated, and as I'm referencing in this conversation, engaging in P.O.C. She's engaged in monitoring me via text message, as I documented the other day, while Ontario police group stalking again, as I catch on video, and as what you hear audibly in that video, the state is flying over my room, concealing the visual of that stalking conduct through what is the placement of fake clouds over in the sky. The state is always engaged in manipulating the environment. The state's fake sun appearing at the drop of a dime. The state's fake sun appearing later in that day, by the way. It's not anything outside of the ordinary and well-documented same pattern of conduct. The state's talking about aircraft, the state's talking about police, while Tracy Banks engaged in criminal harassment, threats, and intimidation via text message. That is engaging in monitoring conduct using a communication device, acting in concert with the police who are monitoring me to that, as she is engaged in bombastic speech through that communication device, while fully aware of the fact that she's acting in concert with the police that are monitoring while this activity is going on my phone, as she's continuously texting. We're going back and forth, and she's saying things that are ridiculous and making a bunch of implied admissions on behalf of the people of the state. That's the significance of that, which I documented, and it is also backed up with the video that I captured as I step out of the room. I already referenced in those text messages she's monitoring. This is monitoring speech that this is monitoring conduct. That's all she's engaged in, while the state is monitoring while she's texting me right now. And I stepped out, and that's exactly what I captured. Ontario police loitering in relevant position, stalking, facilitating federal group stalking and monitoring with the people of the state of California at this venue while the state is flying over, which I capture in that video. But that is that which the state is engaged in 24 hours a day. That is, again, just another video giving an example of what the state is engaged in on a ceaseless basis, not just here, but everywhere, as my documentation has already established. Those are the facts under which they are present, manufacturing an issue that does not exist. They're monitoring, and I asked that Sissy Pants, who's listening right now, who is being documented not only by my podcast, not only by that which is established, every single person on the grounds here at Economy Inn is being documented, surveillance cameras. There is no getting or escaping whatsoever what the state is engaged in while I am here. Where I am, P.O.C. is underway, and that is also established. They're literally documenting themselves at this point, and I am running down names as they are monitoring that, and this is what precipitates from that. Tracy Banks appearing and knocking on my door. Oh, we came and we called and you didn't answer your phone. The group stalkers know that I unplugged the phone, okay? And then Tracy Banks comes and knocks on the door. She knows that I'm in the room. She knows that I'm not answering the door. It's all monitoring conduct, knocking on the door. Even if you want to get back, a third party can deny whatever knowledge they want. It doesn't matter. Legally, it's irrelevant. Monitoring conduct. It's audible activity in relevant position. The state is always stalking, and that is what's prefacing that audible activity that she is creating, while 226 is acting in concert with him with her in relevant position. That's what the people engage in. Coming and knocking on my door, speaking to an issue that she couldn't even get straight while I'm asking her questions about, okay, why are you knocking on my door? Okay, that's not what happened. And that's not what she said. And that's not the attitude she had when she said it. And I am speaking to and I am correcting what are third-party group stalkers. Understand, that's a communication of a threat. They're all acting as an entity together against me as I document them, which understand numerosity is no demonstration whatsoever as to intelligence or as to competence, as to strength. It's merely a bunch of losers because they lose, all right? The system of federal group stalking monitoring is already exposed, and that federal prosecution is speaking to how it will expansively address the totality of that entity, because it is not a single individual, meaning it's not just Tracy Banks, as it started with Tracy Banks in my home, but you're speaking to that which is actually the government who was in my home via Tracy Banks. And Tracy Banks, a part of what is that same group, the people of the state of California, in the capacity of a family member, a relative, representing a tremendous threat inside of your home, group stalking in your home. Okay, you're present representing the government. You're group stalking in my apartment. You're monitoring me inside my apartment. You're a sex offender and you are a psychopath. Understand, Tracy Banks is a great illustration of what the people of the state of California are engaged in. Psychopaths. All right, and this is one that has serious issues. Absolute strangers to you monitoring you have serious issues. Those whose name you know engaging it with you on an everyday basis, acting like they're normal when they're engaged in an unprecedented criminal system to monitor you. And for what? While you're talking about monitoring your own, that's a psychopath who is deserving of a straitjacket, okay? That's a malicious actor, someone with serious mental issues, in no way removing criminal responsibility. That is a psychopath who is aware of the wrongness of that conduct, that is aware of the illegality, that is aware of the twisted appearance that it takes on, and this is why this is why the public entity engages in that criminal system, those criminal elements, under the guise of what is supposed to be everyday life. And it is not. You're looking at the elements, which control. That is P.O.C. It's 8:41 p.m.